Hi guys, welcome back.
Dang. Hey y'all, welcome to The Perspective. I'm Destinee Denise.
And I'm Raylene and Destinee.
And we can't get it together today. So
we gonna have to tell the story why what happened just happened, but we're not gonna get into that. So, Destinee, how was your week this week?
My week was great.
That's good.
4th of July, I didn't want to really celebrate it. I was kind of on the fence about celebrating it because it was like, you know, the whole Juneteenth thing and that we weren't really free. But, you know, I really wanted my plates and my food and I wanted to be with my friends. So I went out, but I wasn't really celebrating freedom. Like, I wasn't celebrating
the good food. And the fireworks.
I was celebrating
and the liquor.
Obama daughter's birthday.
Right.
Just in California. That's what I was doing. I wasn't celebrating 4th of July. It was so weird, though, it being on a Tuesday. It kind of threw off my week.
I was so happy because, you know, out of all of the 7 years that I have been working in this economic country that we live in, whatever, I had a holiday off. I've never had a holiday off to where I can get as drunk as I want to, as high as I want to, and go to sleep and then not have to wake up for work the next day. And I had a good 4th of July. I really did. I spent it with some family, my friends.
Nice,
you know, we had a cool little 4th. I was very pleased with my 4th of July.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
All right. So this week's episode of The Perspective, we're talking about the conscious era of our society today. Conscious era, what does that really mean? That leads us to the question of the day. What does it mean to be conscious?
You go first. I went first last week. I always go first. I noticed that when I be watching the videos, I always go first.
Okay, so I'm going to start it off. I have no problem with that, you know. You feel me?
Go ahead.
I got to take my paper out because, you know, I put some hard work into this today. Okay, but seriously, I really put being aware of your surroundings and also yourself, of who you are and the things that go on around you in life. I feel like being conscious is pretty much it's not about just, you know, being conscious of like who you are, like little things like, hi, I'm Raylene, I'm, you know, when they ask you because I deal with this phone call every day at my job, like when they say, is the person conscious? Yes, they're conscious, meaning are they in their right state of mind? That's, you know, that's one term of being conscious, but my definition of being conscious is, you know, being aware of yourself and the things that go on in life that's around you. You know what I'm saying? Reading in between the lines of certain situations, you know, just being able to take a step back and look and analyze the situation before kind of like making your next move. I just feel like people just go with the next move, and not really looking in between the lines of whatever it is that the situation is.
I got you.
You get what I'm saying?
Got you.
All right, okay.
I mean, either way, if I didn't get you, it's still your perspective, girl. This is the perspective.
No, I know that's my perspective, but I'm just trying to make sure that my definition made sense.
It's your definition, girl. It makes sense.
I want the viewers to understand.
Somebody out there is going to understand.
All right. Okay, for sure.
For me, conscious is being aware, but it's the state of self-realization, realizing your truth, your purpose, your path, being self. Also realizing that there's an ego and a soul. And what I mean by ego is like, it's like kind of like yin and yang, your negatives and your positives. A lot of people, they go through life accepting clear character flaws as that's just the way that I am. Like, oh, I'm bitter, that's just who I am. Or I'm like, take for example, if someone's like,
I'm just selfish.
I got an attitude problem, like that's just who I am.
Yeah.
That's not just who you are. That's, to me, because because I am conscious, I evaluate and I analyze people, so I take that as a reflection of deep-rooted character issues. And in turn, when you reflect and realize that you have these character flaws that can be changed, it lifts a burden up off your shoulder. It lifts a weight up off of you. It makes you go through life more easier and freely. You flow. Another part of self-realization is self-realization that the world is not perfect. The world is not pretty. Like, it's a dark side of the world, but you're just taking it for what it is. You're not applying that dark side to your life, but you know that it's out there, and you know that it's bad in the world. And reading between those lines involve, like what Raylene said, tying it into my definition, you would have to read in between the lines when it comes to everything. Like, what is the message? What is the moral of the story? Basically, conscious is basically waking up and smelling the roses, like
pretty much
being aware of your life, your surroundings, people, like being like me, speaking on myself, like as I went through my taking my path in my journey, like I've always been a people watcher. I've always been an observer, but now it's like a magnifying glass. Like, you don't even have to tell me like about you in a sense to where
because you already know.
I feel it. Like, exactly. I feel it. You don't have to tell me anything. Like, I see it from a mile away.
Ooh, when you read bullshit, I tell people,
when you read people, like, oh my god,
you can't bullshit a bullshitter. Number one,
my goodness,
you can't. That's something that you can never do is bullshit a bullshitter. I really hate, because this is what I like about being conscious. When you learn yourself, you start to see a lot of more bullshit that you ever expected. Mm-hmm. I promise.
It just start opening up like little doorways, and it just expands.
And then it's like when you're around people and when you see people for who they are, and it's like, first it's like, okay, me how I do it is like, okay, benefit of the doubt. Second time, I'm gonna just give you this look. Third time, Nick Young face, I'm done. That's just how, because it's like, I just kind of feel like this. With people, when you read people, you don't even have to say nothing. Like, your vibe, people don't understand, like, your vibe and who you carry yourself as a person. That
it's that energy, that aura.
It carries with you, and people can really feel it and really read it. And it's just like,
Me, I read liars really well, like. And not that I'll react on it. Like, sometimes people, like, I know someone will be lying to me, and I'll just be like, okay. Like, because at the end of the day, it's only hurting you. It's not hurting me, because I know you're lying. Like, I'm not the type that's going to be like, you a liar, like, da-da-da. Because you know and I know that you're lying. And that's all that matters. Like, that's what it's for me. Like, another thing, like, with being conscious, like you said, like, energy, like, I read people extremely well. Like, when you irritated, you mad, you happy, like, you feel that. And before, like, becoming conscious, a lot of people, you hear people use the term, it's an elephant in the room. Like, no, that's that energy, whether it's negative. Most of the times you don't feel it when it's good, because it's flowing. But when it's bad, it's stagnant. It's just heavy in one place. And you be like, oh, it's the elephant in the room. Like, it's
that's
tension.
Crazy.
It's so tense you could cut it with a knife. That's that energy. It's like a block. Like,
it's crazy that you say that, because I had a situation like that at work where everybody was at the front desk and I was just quiet. Like, I was saying hello, and when that certain person walked in the room, I just went. Like, and it's crazy how energy really is, because when one person it's like a domino effect.
Just be like, ding,
and
ding,
it's
ding,
just
ding.
like, when your mood shut, when my mood completely shut, everyone's mood in the front desk
went down.
And it's kind of like everything just slowed down. Mm-hmm. And then one of my coworkers used that exact same phrase. Oh, it's an elephant in the room. And I never forget, I said, no, it's not.
Yeah.
That's just me letting you know how I feel. And my coworker was looking at me. I never forget. She was looking at me like, the heck does that mean? And I never really got the chance to break it down. It's crazy that we're talking about this. But, last year when I was, being aware and, learning about myself and my consciousness, I was kind of at that learning point. And when I was like, no, that's not an elephant. Like, that's me letting you know how I feel.
Right.
Then I had exchanged some words with the coworker, and then,
Yeah, definitely. Energy, like, it just reminds, like, it's science. Like, you remember, like, learning how the molecules slow down,
Yeah,
and they speed up with certain temperatures. Same thing with your body. Our bodies, we're 70% water, so that water is moving. That water is, the temperature is changing. You hot, you cold, you lukewarm. Like, all of that factors your feelings, your emotions, and how you express them and how you feel throughout the world.
exactly.
And throughout life, not throughout the world, throughout life. 'Cause some people don't really. But yeah, speaking of world, how does society view being conscious?
Oh. I just feel like, personally, with, you know, when I you know, be open and tell people that I'm conscious and they be looking at me kind of weird, I just feel like society thinks it's like we some weirdos, because I get the term weird a lot. And when people first meet me and when I start talking and being myself, I get the term, not even me, this is even before I was expressing that I'm conscious. And I feel like, because some of the stuff I used to talk about was kind of like on that path before I kind of broke, before it, like, in my head exactly what the term and name was for it. So it was like when I'll be in comment, oh, you weird. And I'm like, no, that's just okay. I used to be like, I'll take that. I'll be weird. I don't mind being different. I don't mind being able to see past certain things, and I don't mind being able to, you know, have self-realization, because this is going to benefit me in the long run, and it's going to hurt you if you don't want to be able to self-realize and self-evaluate yourself. So I just feel like I'll be that weirdo if you want me to, but I'm going to be that weirdo that's going to be successful, and you're going to be stuck in that same exact spot because you don't want to self-realize what you're going through. That's just how I look at it.
Alrighty then. To me, self-realization. The society views conscious as know-it-alls. Me, sometimes I get that I think I know everything, or, you know, but it's just my path and my journey involved me doing a lot of reading. That's why I've always been a reader, but it slowed down once I got in college, and then once I kind of took a break from college, it picked back up because I started reading the things that I wanted to read about and open my mind to, such as spirituality, such as my own culture and where I come from. I'm still trying to learn that, and society, how society has treated black people, and just all of that. I've been learning that, so that's what in turn has helped me develop my little conscious little side. Because like Raylene said, me as well, I've always kind of talked along the lines of certain subjects. But once I broke through those barriers and really stripped myself and really did some soul searching, it helped me learn more and become more aware, and not just about things that go on in life, like the deeper meanings, like on some I am on a whole nother level. But society, I think society also views conscious people as weirdos, but like I say weird rebels, because we are being conscious. You're seeking the truth. Like, we're truth seekers, and sometimes the truth is not the majority. And that's where the rebellion comes in, because we're not, sometimes what we talk about and where our frame of mind is not where everybody's going. And that doesn't necessarily mean it's right, and that doesn't necessarily mean it's wrong. But we're always we're playing devil's advocate with life. We're looking at both sides. We're challenging the what ifs, the buts, the whys, the hows. We're challenging all of that. Yeah. Because it's like, growing up, you've just been told
what to do
X,
in
Y,
life.
Z, A through Z. You know, you've just been told this. You ask a lot of people why they believe in what they believe in, is because they've been told that, not because they've actually went and seek the truth for themselves and done the reading for themselves and really dug deeper than the meaning of the words. Because like Raylene said, you have to be able to read in between the lines. It's not just going to be there. You have to really challenge your brain and have that logical, critical thinking about everything. And that's what makes us the rebels and the weirdos, because we're not going with what everyone is saying. We're not doing what everybody's saying. And sometimes it kind of, we get it, like certain conscious people, you get associated with having certain styles or trends, like, you know, like dreads and things like that. Like, conscious people they look different. Like, they don't look like hippies. They don't, and some conscious people don't all smoke weed. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, it's certain stigmas that's associated with the word. When it's conscious people of all walks of life that
for real
are, you know, challenging and questioning and really living their truths and doing what they do. Like, I had my boss I used to work for a tech company, and he was non-religious. He was into what you call Reiki, and Reiki is a certain type of meditation. It's kind of like yoga and chanting, and it involves crystals and all of that type of stuff. So it's like, and he was like a corporate, like, white man, and he used to talk about certain, you know, topics and things that, you know, your average person that looks like, you know, like the Rastafarian culture. A lot of people try to associate conscious with that and things of that nature. It's like, no, we're all different. You can't try to put a conscious person in a box, because a part of being conscious is breaking out of that box, like we talked about last week, breaking them barriers, teaching people that there is no box, there is no you like, you're in this time, in this moment, for a reason, for a purpose. That's
exactly
that's how I feel about
and
it.
I just kind of feel like, you know, when it comes to conscious people, people like to judge the fact that, you know, a lot of conscious people use sage, and, you know, they do chant with their crystals, and I'm kind of offended by that. And I mean, I'm not offended in a bad way. It's just that don't make it seem like we out here doing witchcraft. And,
I got
you
called
know,
a witch before.
You see what I'm saying? Like, we ain't no witches. It's just, you got to do the research for yourself for you to understand what, you know, what it is. Like, I don't want to be walking around getting called a witch.
Well, some conscious people aren't spiritual. Some conscious people are religious. Some, you have conscious Christians. You have but a part is kind of like a, what do you call it? Like a double negative. Because some people say you can't be conscious and be a Christian.
See, ain't nobody got time for that.
Because a part of playing devil's advocate, a part of being a truth seeker and finding your truth, you're going deeper. You're tackling religion, you're tackling race, you're tackling politics, you're challenging all of those areas that divide us today. Religion, race, government, and money, status quo, your social status, that's what divides us. So you're challenging all of that. But it's like, I'm just speaking for other, because, you know, some people I see through social media, like, that's why I'm speaking on it.
I understand,
because, you know, I'm spiritual. Like you said, I do the crystals and the sage and things, but it's like,
I just feel like you can.
And you have conscious Buddhists too, because I study like,
I feel like you can have
Taoism and Buddhism and stuff, and it's a lot of like conscious subjects that kind of everything ties hand in hand. As above, so below. Everything is one in a sense.
And the only reason why I say that is because I ran into some conscious Christians. Like, I promise you, they was at my job and they had a church service, like praising the Lord and everything. Promise you. And I seen her, and she had an amethyst around her neck. She had an amethyst, a clear quartz, and a black onyx around her neck. Mm-hmm. And I said, oh my God, I love your crystals. And I never forget, I went to my purse and I showed her mine. And she was like, that's dope. Like, she was just telling me, well, I feel like God made them, so why not embrace them? That was her slogan. Kid you not, she had it tattooed on her. Like, it was deep for her. So that's why I'm like, I kind of feel like you can. Because even in the Bible, crystals are used. Definitely. So it's just like, everything goes hand in hand. I feel like every religion, every race, it all goes, we connect in some way, somehow. We gonna figure it out. But
yeah,
everything
I had
is
a conversation with a Christian, and we were exchanging words, and I was telling her how I'm spiritual, and I believe there's a higher power, and that I have crystals and I sage, but that's all for energy. That's all for something that the higher power made. And she was like, I definitely understand, as long as you're not putting those crystals above that higher power that you believe in, so to speak, believing that the crystals can heal you. Now, they can heal your energies. They can heal your chakras, which is in turn energy dimensions. And we're going to get into that some other time. But trying to heal you, say, for example, I'm sick. I have cancer. And my moonstone crystal has anti-cancer properties. So instead of me taking chemotherapy, I'm just believing in the crystals can heal me. That's when you're putting it above.
Okay, there we go.
Your higher power. And that's where people associate. They think we believe, like, no, it's for energy purposes, like soothing your anger, your insecurities, your jealousy, your rage, your love, like everything. Exactly. Like, it's so many different energy properties that affect us on a daily, so you have to be able to cleanse it, like, or you're gonna be clogged up.
Don't even realize, and the crazy part is some people don't even realize what it is. Like, why?
Because they've been told it's bad. Just what I stated. You go through life being told something instead of going to seek out the truth yourself and finding out the answers on your own.
Exactly.
Somebody tells you, oh, that's bad. Okay. Well, then I'm just not going to do it because you said it's bad. Okay, cool. Instead of, going and reading, because the knowledge is in the books.
For real.
The knowledge is definitely in the books.
It's always in the books. But not
if you reading your statuses, if you reading your tweets and Facebook posts and Instagram
you can read an article.
You can read an article. Like, it's not going to harm you. And you'll, like, oh my God, I be filled with so much. I tell my friends it's useless knowledge that'll come in handy one day. And it do, because we be talking about stuff, and I just throw out a random fact, and they be like, how you know that? I'll be like, I read an article on it one time. I just keep it stored. I got a big head. My head is big, so I got a big brain, so I store a lot of stuff up here.
But not everything, even in the books, has been documented either. And we going to get into that, too, about some of the stuff, because I done read. We going to get into that. But right now, we going to go ahead and take a little break. When we come back, we going to sit here and talk about black wokeness, I did this last week. I'm not gonna do it again.
You did it again.
I did.
You did it again.
What? I ain't. Okay, I'm gonna just.
We're gonna talk about the conscious cycle and collective consciousness. Stay tuned.
When we get back, I don't know what's wrong with me.
I don't know.
Welcome back, you guys.
Hey. Oh, you want me to say hey?
Yeah,
hey, y'all. You don't usually make me do this, or do you?
Because usually you be like, okay, welcome back. We be like really hype. Welcome back, guys. If you guys are just now tuning in, we're talking about the conscious era. You know what I'm saying on this week's episode.
Did you say Cheyenne or saying?
You know what I'm saying? I entered my Cardi B. I like her. I was channeling my Cardi B right there.
Okay.
Yeah. You didn't catch it? No. Oh, okay.
Fine.
So on this week's episode of The Perspective, we're gonna be talking about some black wokeness. Meaning, go first. You go first. I go first. Okay, I'll go first.
I told you you're going first. I'm not.
All right. I just kind of feel like this is a really long speech because I put down a couple of events. You know what I'm saying? I kind of did some research because I kind of know about my people, but I kind of didn't. I kind of knew what these things were that I'm going to talk about, but I never really knew the true understanding and meaning. So I just kind of feel like African Americans, personally, when it comes to us being woke about, us, our history, our culture, we fallen through the cracks with that. I just feel like we only knew about what school told us, which was about, Frederick Douglass, Madam C.J. Walker, Harriet Tubman, Muhammad Ali. I feel like we were structured to, know about certain African Americans. You know what I'm saying? Certain people in the American history, Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. I rarely knew anything about Malcolm X. I only knew...
Oh, really?
Yes, I only knew a little bit, not too much.
Oh, my dad, he was like real heavy in it. So like I watched stuff like Amistad when I was younger.
Like it took for me to watch the Malcolm X movie with Denzel for me to really know who kind of Malcolm X was, like, in school. Like, my mom and my parents never really sat down and talked about certain Black African American history with me. I was just from what the public schools taught me. That's all I knew. You feel me? So I just
feel you.
So I just feel like we're really falling through the cracks of that, and I just feel like us as a people, we really need to get on our culture and really understand where we come from. You know, because we were stripped from everything, from the religion that we was taught. You know, from the food that we ate. Because soul food, come on now, that's not really it's food. It's really good food. Everyone loves soul food, but we don't have a language. You know, we got slang, but we don't have an actual language, you know. And I just feel like us as a people need to start seeking the truth from where we come from. And Juneteenth, I heard you mention that. I knew what it was, but I didn't know the facts that I knew about it. Like, that was the day that, you know, we were officially free 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation.
Well, it was technically Texas. Texas was the last state. After they signed the Emancipation Proclamation, Texas was still
doing slavery.
Yeah. And the marshals had to literally go down to Texas and tell the slaves, like, you're free. You've been free. I don't know what you're doing down here, but you're free now. Like, that's what it was.
Okay.
Like, oh, it's so annoying, but continue, girl. Go ahead, girl. You got the flow. I just had to throw that fact in there because people didn't know that they came down to Texas and knocked at the door. Okay?
Exactly. And that right there, that bothered me so much. Like, why wasn't we taught that? Why? And then it's just like on top of that, and I read an article stating that, you know, they tried to make it like a national holiday, and they denied it.
Yeah.
Like, what? That was the last day that the last day in the last state to officially free slaves. Even so, I just kind of feel like after that whole document that Abraham Lincoln did create for us to be free, it still didn't do no type of justice, because there was one whole state that was still doing slavery.
Yeah.
That bothers me. And the fact, it bothers me. Black Wall Street, 1921. In Oklahoma, envious white people decided to just go to Tulsa and burn a whole black community down. And the reason is still to this day is unknown. They still don't know why they did that. Of course we know
common
why.
Sense. Hello, we was thriving and striving, and they
had over
hating.
21 churches, 2 movie theaters, like 10 schools, 2 banks, a post office.
They had everything.
They had everything, and everything was black owned.
The dollar was circulated at least 50 times before it left that community. Being circulated, that's a lot for the dollar to be circulated.
3,000 African Americans died that day on June 1st, 1921. And also, over 600 businesses were lost due to that bombing and burning of that city. And it's just, I didn't learn that. I didn't know that. I've heard it, you know, through conversation. I looked it up. I kind of got an idea. But just to know that these businesses were burnt down because they decided to just kind of like branch off and do their own thing. It was kind of like the Black Beverly Hills in Tulsa, Oklahoma. That really just bothers me. And also in the 1700s, a man by the name of Crispus Attucks was shot and killed in the Boston Massacre. So, and he was the first black man to die for this country. So I just kind of feel like a lot of people don't know that. Those 3 things that I said, I didn't really know the depth and how serious that like when I read a couple of articles, like I stayed up reading about this stuff. And to know that in the World Encyclopedia, the burning in Tulsa is not mentioned. The bombing in 1921 is not mentioned. Crispus Attucks is not mentioned. None of these events in history were documented. They documented Crispus Attucks, but they didn't describe that he was a black man. Do you know how cold that is? I just kind of feel like there's so much blood.
Well, rumor has it the first president of this country was black.
See?
It wasn't George Washington. I heard that through
See?
I remember reading it. I wish I was.
I'm about to Google that when I go to work tonight. I'm on a whole nother pathway, Googling this and finding this out. I'm about to start really reading.
For me, black wokeness is being aware and knowledgeable of your culture or therefore lack of. For example, like she was saying, we have no language. We have no culture. Everything was stripped of us. Breaking it down all the way to our title, African American or black. First of all, black is a color. Secondly, being African American, that means you are from the nation of Africa.
Right.
Africa is a continent. Come on now. That makes no sense. American is not America's not a country. It's a corporation. You know, when you're born under that social security number, that's your ID number. That's what the country's. No, that's what your property of the U.S.
Yeah, pretty much.
Taking it even further, the 13th Amendment. The 13th Amendment states that back then it was a black man is not recognized as a citizen of America. That's why the conviction rate of black men over white men is higher. Sentence rates is more than triple than what a white man would get for the same exact crime. That's a part of being woke and understanding that this country is not built for us. And of course the system is messed up, but what steps are you taking to beat this system, not fix this system, because the system wasn't set up for you in the first place.
Right.
Talking about having no culture, talking about celebrating pagan holidays like Easter and Christmas. Why aren't black people celebrating Kwanzaa, the holiday of heritage and unity and culture? Why aren't we celebrating Juneteenth, but we going out and buying our freshest fits for the 4th? It makes no sense. We're going backwards as people and not pushing forward and recognizing who we are. Speaking of learning in schools,
Kwanzaa wasn't taught in school.
Kwanzaa was taught. We just never paid attention because we were so drowned in Christmas and Santa Claus and wanting presents. Kwanzaa doesn't teach about presents. It teaches about giving and unity and having that cultural strength amongst your brothers and sisters.
Right.
It's a 7-day holiday. It's not just one day.
Yeah. But I was just thinking, in school, I don't remember nothing about Kwanzaa being brought up. Maybe they probably have said it.
They brought it up. I'm telling you, it's just watered down with Christmas because it's around the same, it's celebrated during the same time. Another part of being woke is recognizing that we don't know who we are beyond slavery.
Right.
Our history starts with slavery. So where was we at 400 years before that? Another part of being woke is realizing that where you come from, that self-realization that centuries ago we were kings and queens, and that's a part of the reading. Seeing these movies like in entertainment and stuff, the Prince of Egypt and all that stuff, the movies, they depict Egyptians as white. Egypt is in Africa.
Egyptians were black.
I don't know about you, but they for sure had some melanin in their skin. Same thing as far as recognizing that there's some hidden truth. Why does the man try so hard to exterminate the black culture. All they do is steal from it. Culture vultures, like they steal from it. And that's with everybody. White people steal from every culture, but black people, they steal from us and they try to exterminate us. They try to kill us off. We don't have to say all these names that's been murdered by policemen, you know? Everything in between that, recognizing that we have a higher purpose. Our bloodline has so much strength and power that we need to recognize, because once we recognize that's why that term stay woke. Once we wake up and recognize who we really are, it'll become an unstoppable force.
Exactly.
We're not I say this all the time. Black people are so disconnected as a culture. We really do not support one another at all. We'll go support an Asian business, a Mexican business, a white business, a Persian business before we support a black business. Some people are starting to realize that we are the consumers of this country. We consume the most. If you think about it, you have these other races that got mansions and 5-6 bedroom houses, living large, but they got a Honda and a Toyota in the driveway. And you got black people living in an apartment renting out in Gardena, but got a Challenger in the driveway.
Don't make no sense.
Or got a Benz on the street. You don't even have a driveway. You can't even pull it up. Valet. You gotta park down the street and make sure you get up before street sweeping. Like, it makes no sense how we think and how we spin. Like Jay-Z, 444, that album was talking about, you know, investing your money in doing what hasn't been taught to us. They're not gonna teach us how to be up there with them.
Nope.
They're gonna teach us how to become workers. They're going to give us, like, I was just watching, it's a new show, Snowfall, how crack started in the 80s in LA. They're going to give you drugs. They're going to give you all of that to keep you down, keep your vibrations low, keep you not being the best that you can be. They scared of us. Y'all better get out. Y'all better get out of the sunken place and realize that we have greater potential as people and unified. Then, man, if people start realizing that,
we'll be unstoppable, y'all. The world will be ours. This country will be ours.
Definitely.
Period. Moving on.
Flip the page.
The conscious cycle meaning. And I wrote a little statement. Like, I thought about it.
Go ahead, girl. Read your speech.
Because I really put my perspective and my thought and my idea in this. I put since the 1920s, because I feel like that was the era where we started to, because I think of all the dope artists back then. I'm in love with the 20s era. And in the 20s, a lot of black, you know, saxophone, guitar players, boxers, Josephine Baker, that whole, we was going somewhere then. We really was. So in the 1920s, I feel like black people has been onto something as far as helping one another and being the answer of society, and being the answer in the society that we live in. Meaning, you know, to awake our people, you know, spread the love, manifest, all that good stuff. I said, can't be my own handwriting. Trials and tribulations, of course, come in the way, but never made. I was like, what the?
You was like,
I cannot read my handwriting.
I'm sorry, I tried to hold it in. You want to go first? You want to go first?
Yeah, because I cannot read my handwriting. I wrote this at 4 a.m.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
For me, the conscious cycle, I'm just going to speak on another level. Becoming conscious, it's the same concept as going through the dark in order to see the light. Being able to dissociate your ego and begin to see your soul. That takes a lot of soul searching when it comes to going through your conscious cycle, because it's a scary journey, because it's a lot of truths that you have to question, that you've been so conformed to believing that it's normal. that's the hardest part of breaking through the cycle, because you're going to go back and forth with yourself feeling out of place. Like, for example, for me, I'm going to speak on a religious standpoint. Growing up, I've always felt weird in the church. I'm just going to be honest. I've always felt like, okay, certain things didn't make sense to me. Like, it was like, okay, well, if that and then that, I don't know. I don't know. But growing up, you're taught not to question things. You questioning God? No, I'm not questioning God. I'm questioning the book. I don't understand it. Like, help me understand it. It's not that I'm questioning God. I'm questioning the book, because how this is speaking, it look like Shakespeare. So I don't understand it. So it's like, and being told that, it made me question it more, because, and I'm sitting like this because I really feel like Willy Wonka right now. Because, you know, growing up, when, say for example, you ask your parents about sex or something real outrageous and way out, and they just automatically shut you down, like,
man,
it's just because you're not supposed to do it, like, and it just be like, okay, well,
why am I not supposed to
talk
do it?
to me, tell me, like, let me know. So growing up, I've always felt like that. And once I started breaking through, I started reading and finding out terms and really connecting the dots, because a part of my journey, I really started to study other religions as well. And I noticed that there were certain commonalities within all of the religions. So I'm like, okay, if there's certain things that they have the same meaning, but they're just written a different way, it's like, okay, it's a center point within all these religions.
Right.
So for me, I just took a step back and was like, okay, I'm not going to associate myself with one, because that divides you. And some people, they really kill over religion. You hear in the news Muslim people being attacked because their religion and how they dress, so they stick out like sore thumbs. But that doesn't give you the right to attack someone because of their belief.
Absolutely.
I tell my friends this, that everything is connected, as above, so below. You guys probably hear me say this often. Everything is connected, believe it or not. And once you start breaking the barrier, I can't physically sit here and tell you how everything is connected.
Right.
But it's a part of your journey to read and for you to understand how everything is connected. I could tell you, but you're just going to be like, okay, it's going to go in one ear and out the other. But once you start, you have to really be interested in it. Once you start grabbing certain subjects, grabbing your attention, and you start learning certain words, like, okay, well, what this mean? Let me look up this. And then you'll notice a connection from, and it opens a different world for you. It's like you're expanding your
knowledge.
You're just expanding as a person.
Yourself.
Like, it's self-growth. Self-realization is equal to it leads to self-growth, because you start realizing what's the truth, what's your truth.
Exactly.
Because not necessarily your truth is the next person's truth. And that's what people need to realize. Like, you're here for you. You are put in your vessel. I wasn't put in Raylene vessel. I wasn't put in, the next person. I was put here and named formerly Destinee. Side note, my mama almost named me Tangela. Do I look like a Tangela? I almost could have been a Tangela. But right now, I'm Destinee. But
my mom was going to name me Raven.
Raven? Okay, that was Raven.
She was going to spell it R-A-Y-V-E-N.
Tangela? Tangy for short? Tangerine. I could hear it now. What's up, Tangerine? But
and you're gonna be like, Tangela. That's how you do. You just go.
No, but seriously, you have to be able to disassociate and really challenge certain things that you feel will help you move along.
Absolutely.
And I'm telling y'all, like, being a spiritual person and believing in the law of abundance and the law of attraction and the laws of prosperity, and it just makes my life so much easier. I've been because growing up, I was always fearful. I'm not gonna lie, I was fearful of going to hell. Like,
they condemn that to you.
I was really fearful, but now that I'm non-religious and I don't believe in heaven or in hell, I really live my life through the source and have that source guide me and keep giving me the blessings that I want to receive as long as I'm staying positive. Exactly. I'm a human. I'm going to make mistakes. But as long as I'm learning from them mistakes and staying positive, my journey is going to always keep pushing on. Absolutely. The source is going to help me keep going. God is going to keep helping me. When I say the source, people be like, you don't believe in God? God is the source, fool. That's what I be wanting to do my Arthur, like, God is the source.
Okay, so back to what I was pretty much saying.
Got it together?
I got it together.
Yay, Ray.
I just, because I was writing, and then I realized that I wrote the same thing twice, and it threw me off. You have to please excuse me, because I really wrote this at 4 in the morning.
Did you proofread it? No,
I was just
obviously
writing.
not if you wrote twice.
I was doing this. All right,
well, let me hear what you wrote.
So pretty much what I wrote, okay. I'm skipping over the part that's, okay. I just feel like, we on a right track, but it never really distracted us. I kind of feel like in the 90s, I feel like that's where we was really growing strong at. And each, era, I feel like from the 80s, we kind of dimmed a little bit.
Drugs.
Through the crack era and everything. But I feel like in the 90s, we was kind of pulling it back together.
Definitely. So it was a lot of unity.
We was really pulling it back, and we was really getting to understand. I feel like we was really in unity at that point.
Yeah.
And then 2000 came. And from 2000, I was just about to say from the first 10 years.
The air. Because it sounds weird saying it. It's the thousands, the double zeros. Now we're in the tens. Just how you said back in the 20s, I love the 20s era. Well, we about to recirculate back into the 20s, girl.
Right. So, I feel like from 2000 to 2010, when George Bush was in office, we just kind of lost it. And it's not because of the president, of course, but I just kind of feel like when I think Al Gore was really supposed to be our president, but electoral vote, I just feel like America was just in shock. And we just kind of fell from the face of the earth.
I think, I kind of agree with the 90s being about unity, and then in 2000s we falling. But I think it's because we were given that consumer materialistic mentality. Like back in the 90s, everything was about flavor and swag and just being you and wearing your baggy stuff and your baseball jerseys, being cute ladies with what we're wearing now.
Pretty much.
Basically, being a baller on a budget. But once the 2000s came, it was all about bling bling and having nice cars and money. But it wasn't with the other cultures. It was with us.
Exactly.
And it started with the music, and that's why they say the music really infiltrates and affects a culture, because from then it went from the Tupacs and keep your head ups and recognizing what's going on and changing, they don't love a black brother and all that, to going blang blang every time I got and the big pimpin' spin. Like it became about that, and it just evolved into something
I never
more
realized how much music really could play a part.
Just evolved. Like, look at the artists now, and you gotta wear Ferragamos and Balenciagas and all that just to be fly. Like, why I don't even know cool what a Balenciaga in my Vans? Why I can't be cool in my Vans? Why I gotta have on Balenciagas to be?
What is a Balenciaga?
Fly? It's a certain type of designer label. And that's what I'm talking about.
I don't even know who that is.
That's what Future and all them talk about. And they be having the little scammers running out to get that when the first thing they get their scamming money with. They go get the belts and all that stuff.
Oh my God. I got a friend who he literally buys everything. No. He just buys everything. He just buys everything. So that man has more expensive and more designers in his closet than me.
Does he own a home?
No.
Exactly.
Literally, he owns his car, but he doesn't own.
Okay, he owns a car. Okay,
he owns his Jeep, but he doesn't.
But it's just like you could be investing that money into property, into a business,
like
multiplying. That's why I said by the time I'm 30, I'm gonna have my 5 incomes. That's how I'm thinking. I'm not thinking
same here,
every time I get my checks, I want to go buy expensive $200 shoes and all that. Like I want to invest in myself and see my growth. So once my children come into this world, I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to worry. I want to be able to just
pop my kids out, give them what they want. Not like that, but that's just what because I know when I
pop them out and give them what they want. I'm gonna be a stay-at-home mother.
Right. I want to be able to give for my kids. Mm-hmm. Like my kids is like that's why I can't have no kids right now. Because how I love other people's kids, I don't know how. There's gonna be like a gazillion times more if it's my personal own. So Can't have no personal owned kids right now. That's why I got all my adopted children at my job.
Okay, girl. I got you.
So moving along to collective consciousness. Now, my definition of collective consciousness is more so like, starting off with a joke. Haha, I'm gonna try to be funny. I seen a meme on Instagram and it was like black telepathy. Telepathy, right?
Yes,
yeah.
telepathy.
Black telepathy. And the definition was like when something strange is going on in public and you look at another person and the other person already give you that look like they know what's up.
Time to go.
Collective consciousness. Not to use it as black telepathy, but I'm just saying, like, I just kind of feel like that is pretty... That's my example of what collective consciousness is, and pretty much... y'all seeing it. Y'all both read in between the lines. Y'all don't even know it. Because I've had that situation happen to me where I don't even know this person from a can of paint. I've never met this person a day in my life. But you seen it. I seen it. We both was like, bye. Or we was both for like, we both spoke up on the same situation that we just witnessed or just saw. So I just kind of feel like collective consciousness is being on that wave, not just with situations, but also with greatness within yourself. You know what I'm saying? Sharing the same beliefs and same ideas with the next person. Putting them on game on what you know in life. That's how I feel like that's what it is. I want to wake up everybody that I know. And not even just black people, everybody. Because I feel like our generation, the new millennial generation, is not, I feel like everybody, like we're kind of like just on something, and it's just something so great, and pretty much like we're just moving. I just feel like we're moving in ways that our parents and our grandparents didn't.
Yeah, we just picking up where they left off.
Pretty
Definitely
much.
So collective consciousness to me is how can we heal the world?
Exactly.
Basically. It's no matter where you are, I talked about this, no matter where you are, what type of background you come from, your upbringing. Some of us may have similar upbringings, but in this moment in time, we are on one page, one vibration, one accord when it comes to how we feel towards life, our thoughts towards society, our thoughts on just spreading love. It's kind of like a hippie mindset, collective consciousness, because it's the mindset of you being as free as you want to be, you being your own person, you loving and living life to the fullest, you having no regrets, but it's also like you seeing the evil in the world and you see the bad, and you want to, like Raylene said, wake people up to recognizing what's going on and stopping it before it gets worse.
Right.
Another part of collective consciousness is like the term your vibe attracts your tribe.
Right.
You have similar ways, you have a similar vibe towards other people, and it pulls people towards you. That's normal. That's a part of collective consciousness. I'll find myself sometimes, people, like, I'll be out randomly and people come talk to me. And it'll be a random conversation, and sometimes in the back of my head, I'm like, why are they talking to me? Like, but it's just my vibe. Like, they see it, they feel it, and they like, I want to talk to her. It's nothing wrong with that. And a part of being conscious, you learn not to judge people. People are not weird. Like, people are different,
but they're not weird.
No. So that's how I learned, like, okay, my vibe really attracts people. Sometimes, it's even through like Instagram, like social media, you know, you feel like you somebody's friend on social media. Like, damn, I know we'll be cool friends in life, like, because they post things that you will post. Like, you see how they act, you see how they move, so you see, like, okay, and vice versa, they probably feel the same towards you. But because social media has everybody disconnected, it's hard to make that connection, because you'll think it'll be weird to contact someone randomly out of the blue, like, hey, what's up, like, you cool. But that's a part of collective consciousness, because you'll never know who you'll be meeting, you know, what type of person. If you go with that intuition and that gut, like, dang, me and her would be some cool friends, like, go with it. Because I honestly didn't make friends off Instagram. Like, I didn't have friends that, like, that's cool. Throughout time, like, you know, we go back and forth, like, comment, and then, like, one day it'll just be like, girl, we gotta hang. Like, no, we have to hang out. And I have good friendships with them. It's never nothing weird. It's never nothing off because that follow your intuition, people. That's all I got.
That part.
That part.
I just feel like some examples in history, like the Civil Rights Movement, Rodney King riots, I feel like those were kind of like examples of, people like us as a people.
The Rodney King riots, I kind of feel it was done in the wrong way. Like, it was collective consciousness to like be mad, but like, because I really like studied that.
I was just giving that as an example of how us coming together. Do I feel like it was the right way? Absolutely not.
But that's a bad example, girl. If you're trying to teach people to be collectively conscious, and you gonna use some stuff where they went batshit crazy and tore up the city, where we still ain't recovered from.
But what I'm saying is, look how we all came together. We all knew it was wrong. We all knew that, but officers that beat Rodney King,
right? And then BS. What did we do to prove that they were wrong?
Okay, we shouldn't have burned down the whole city of Los Angeles. But I get where my parents was going with it 20-something years ago. But should they have done it? No.
I don't know, because I don't think everybody was on the same wavelength. Have you seen videos? They were just looting. Like, they weren't out there protesting. Like, the people who started it, yes, it was about Rodney King and the police and all that. But once they figured out the police backed away, because what most people don't know, during that time, the police backed away. Like, it was police units in the area, and they were outnumbered, so they got told to back off. And that's when the people felt like they won, so they started looting everything. That's when everybody came together and started, okay, well, the police ain't coming here. Let me go down the street and get me some shoes. Let me go get me some milk from the corner store. Let me go to the gas station, get some chips. Oh, the swap meet? Oh, let me try to get up in there. Like, it was no longer about the message of let's, It was like, they ain't coming, y'all. You trying to go down to the record store and get some records? I know this because my dad, he had like a whole like little stereo thing and like cassettes that he showed me that he had from the riot. So it's like, it wasn't about, they was mad, but it wasn't
about the principle.
That's just how I feel. And that's why we on to something, because we gonna do it differently. We fighting with logic.
Right. That part. That's a wrap for this week's episode. Please be sure to tune in. Check us out on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes. Go ahead and follow me, Raylene Inez with 2 Z's on Instagram, Raylene Inez with 1 Z on Twitter, Rated Rose 3 A's on the Snapchat. Destinee, go ahead and tell them where they can find you at.
You can find me on Instagram at Destinee Denise with 3 E's on the end, and you can find me at Destinee Denise with 2 E's on the end on Snapchat.
Alrighty, guys, that is it of this week's episode of Perspective. Yeah, my thoughts be moving ahead of me. All right,
I caught you though. I got the vocals on reserve.
Teamwork makes the dream work. We out.
Bye.